Welcome back once again to my maths class. In today's video lesson, we are going to talk about the new chapter, that is statistics. Okay, the statistics you have dealt about it in your previous classes 8th and 9th. Okay, and this statistics is a branch of mathematics developed by Sir Ronald A. Fisher. Okay, Sir Ronald A. Fisher. He has developed this branch of statistics, a very useful branch. Okay, and this statistics here, it deals about the collection of the data, organization, the presentation, analysis and the interpretation of the data. We'll be organizing the data in the form of tables and we'll be interpreting the data. And data is nothing but it is an actual information gathered to make any logical inferences. Okay, that is the information or the observations gathered around. Okay, that is the data. And you have come across statistics in your previous classes. We have studied the measures of central tendency. So I am recalling previous knowledge. Okay, we have studied the measures of central tendency. Those are mean, the arithmetic mean, median and mode. Right, children? Okay, you got the basics regarding this mean, median and mode in your 9th standard. Now, what is mean? Mean is an average. You take the average of a particular observations. Like you have studied the mean in your earlier classes, finding out the mean from the raw data. Okay, if I take a class students, if I want to find the maximum or the average number of marks they have scored in a maths slip test. Okay, for that what you do, you will sum up all the observations, and if you divide it with the number of observations, you get the mean, that is the average of the marks. Like sum of all observations, here the observations are the maths marks. Sum of observations by the number of the observations, the total number of students. Okay, here. So this is the calculating the mean. We denote mean by x bar. Okay, sum of the observations by the number of observations. This is about the raw data. And in today's class, we are going to learn about the arithmetic mean, how to deduce arithmetic mean for a group data. Group data in the sense the data which been collected is been organized in the form of the class intervals. So we will learn the arithmetic mean and we have different formulas for deducing the arithmetic mean. So we will learn all the formulas and we'll be doing the exercise problems. Okay, now let's get started. So, arithmetic mean for group data. Right, okay. So, we represent arithmetic mean by small x bar. Okay, here x bar is summation or called as sigma fi xi by sigma f. You have learned this also in your 9th class. Okay, this is the arithmetic mean, summation of fi and xi by sigma f. Now what are these f and x? They are the frequencies, the class intervals, and xi is the mid values. Okay, it is assumed that the mid values are very important here. Why we are finding our mid values in arithmetic mean? It is assumed that the frequencies are centered around the mid values in the class intervals. Okay, therefore we are going to find the mid values in the arithmetic mean. And here the mid values concerned to the class interval. The total summation means here sigma. It's also called as sigma. Summation means the total of this product and the total of the frequencies. This is the arithmetic mean called as the direct method. Mostly we will be using this method because there is a product. We will be using this method when we find smaller values of the frequencies and the mid values. If we have the smaller minute values, then we will be using this direct method. Okay. The second method is, to be more precise, the second method is the assumed mean method. Here A plus sigma fi di by sigma of fi. Okay. This is called as the assumed mean method. Assumed mean method. So there are few deviations. So those deviations to calculate in the precise manner, we are going to use this formula, wherein you know the summation. Summation means the sum total of fi di. Here fi is the frequencies. I is nothing but for each observation item here. Observation or each data. Okay. So in specific to mention, they have kept it as I here, fi. That means the frequency of that particular data or that particular observation. Okay, and where D is called the deviation and A is the assumed mean. Now what is A here? It is the assumed or the arbitrary mean. Assumed mean, also called as arbitrary mean. Now how do we get this? A. Here we will be finding out, for the given data, we will be finding out the mid values of this class intervals. So all the mid values, you will be assuming one value of the mid value. Suppose the central value of the mid value of the tabular column. We can take any one, but if you take the central value of the mid value, then that becomes our assumed. We are assuming that. That's why it is called as the assumed mean or the arbitrary mean. And what is D here? D is the deviation calculated by the formula xi minus A. Xi is that particular mid value from which A has to be subtracted. That comes to the deviation D. So you know all the other terms. So A is assumed mean, D is the deviation which we get it from xi minus A. Now the third method is that it is called as the step deviation method. Mean equal to A plus sigma fi ui by sigma fi into ui by sigma f, product of h. Okay. H is the size of the class interval. Why we denoted it as h? H is the height. Okay. Height of the particular class interval. Okay. And we can also say that it is the size or the length of the class interval. Now here A is the assumed mean, F is the frequency of that particular item, Fi, U is here, we get Ui by this formula. Now this is nothing but x minus A is nothing but the deviation. Deviation by the height of the class interval, you get Ui. After finding out Ui, after calculating Ui, if you make the product with Fi and if you sum it, then it comes to the summation of Fi Ui by sigma Fi. That is the total of the frequency. Also you can write capital N, that is the sum of the frequencies. And H is the length or the height of the class interval. So this is called as the step deviation method. Now, why so many methods for a arithmetic mean is that for smaller values of Fi and Xi, we will be directly finding the product and will be using the direct method. And also, if the values of Fi and Xi are very large and finding the product becomes very tedious and time consuming, for that sake, we will be forming it into the deviation so that it will be simpler. And using the U value, it makes much simpler the values. Then, so for that case, we will be using the assumed mean method and the step deviation method. In exercise problems, if the method is not mentioned, you can see these values of fi and xi which are smaller. If they are smaller, use the direct method. If it is mentioned that do it in all the three methods, you have to do all the three methods, you will be getting the same answer. And if it is not mentioned, you have to take a step where you can use the assumed mean method or the step deviation method. So when it is mentioned, stick on to that particular method. Okay. Now we will be doing the exercise problems. Okay. Quickly copy down. So in your textbook, exercise 14.1. Now if you see the first problem here, that is very simple. So I'll be giving you a hint for that problem. So if you see the values of the frequencies, that is 1, 2, 1, 5 and all, you can use there the direct method. That is x bar is equal to sigma fi xi by sigma fi. Okay. Now we will be doing the third problem here. Now I'll read out the third problem. The following, there is a light variation there. So I'm doing the third problem here. The following distribution shows the daily pocket allowance of children of a locality. The mean pocket allowance is rupees 18. So that means the mean is already given here. Find the missing frequency. Okay. We have to find the frequency. Already given the arithmetic mean as rupees 18. Now, in this problem, these are the daily pocket allowances in rupees. It is being given in the form of the class intervals. Okay. Let us do this by forming the tabular column. Okay. Right. Now first, the daily pocket allowance. Daily pocket allowances in rupees. Okay. Now this is nothing but the class interval. Right. Here. The first column is our class interval. And number of children is the frequency. Number of children is our frequency for each item. Let us take. Now, what we have to calculate in arithmetic mean? We have to calculate the mid values, also called as the class marks. Okay, class marks doesn't mean that only the marks, but the mid values are mentioned as the class marks. Okay, here that is xi, mid values. And the product of these fi, xi. Here already arithmetic mean is given as rupees 18 in the problem itself. Okay. Here. Now we will note it down here. Our class interval 13 to 15 here, and 15 to 17, 17 to 19, 19 to 21, 21 to 23 and 23 to 25. Okay. Now here for the first one it is 7, 6, 9 and the fourth class interval 13. The fifth one, this f value we need to find. Okay. The sixth one is 5 and 4. Right. Okay. Here we will also find the sigma fi. That means the total of this. And xi is the mid values, right? Mid value of the interval, class interval. How to find the mid value? Now this is the rough part. Okay. I'll be doing the calculations here. Make sure that the rough part is away from the main question or the main solution, because the rough, you in a hurry you do all the rough part and it will be overlapping onto the table. Okay, keep it far away, or if you don't find any place there, you can keep it in the last of the page. Okay, write the rough part and do the calculations, because we will be getting many calculations, right? So it should not overlap on the 10 and tabular column. Now we have to find the mid values. Mid value, how to find? The upper the lower limit plus the upper limit by 2. Okay. Now 11 plus 13 by 2 gives the mid value. Here it comes to 24 by 2. It is 12. Likewise 13 plus 15 by 2. So 28 by 2, it comes to 14. So likewise, you have to find for all. Now we got 12 here. The second one is 14. And the third one 15 plus 17. That is 32. 32 by 2 is 16. Right? Okay. So what is the difference here? You have to observe. No need of finding all. See the difference here. 12, 14, 16. That means it is increasing by 2. Now the next one you can write down 18, 20. Here 20 for this. And 22 and 24. So how many we are having? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So these are the mid values. And multiply the mid value with the concerned frequencies. 7 into 12 is 84. 14, 6 again 84. You get, and 16 9 is 144. Okay. And 18 into 13, we will do it here. 18, 20, multiplication, 24, okay, 54. So if you take it here, 18, so 4, 3, 234, right? 18 into 13 is 234. Now 20 into F, that is simply 20F. Okay, 22 into 5 comes to 110. And 24 into 5. How much? Here 22 into 5, 110. 24 into 4. 24 into 4 comes to 96. So we will find the sigma of this product, sigma Fi Xi. So if you add all of them and plus 20F we will get here, plus 20F here. If you add, it comes to 752 plus 20F. And also we have to do the summation of the frequencies. So here if you add them, you get it 44 plus F is also there. Okay, sigma F is 44 plus Fi, not Fi, F. And sigma Fi Xi is 752 plus, this is plus 20F. Now, we know given arithmetic mean is 18. Right? Here, already given the arithmetic mean is rupees 18. Okay. X bar is given as rupees 18. The daily allowance. The pocket allowance is on an average 18 rupees. So, here we will find out by the direct method. What is the arithmetic mean in the direct method? Sigma Fi Xi by sigma of Fi. Right. We know now here 18 given, 18 is equal to sigma Fi Xi. How much we got? 752 plus 20F. So we have to find the F there here, and 44 plus F. Just cross multiply here. Multiply, you will get it as 18 into 44 plus F is equal to 752 plus 20F. Now how much is 44 into 18? We will find out here. 44 into 18. 18 4s 32. 32. 44. So 2, 9 and 7. 792 here. 792 plus 18F. Opening of the bracket here. And 752 plus 20F. So bring this F, shift this F value to the other side and the constant to this side. 792 minus 752. If it comes here, minus. Okay. That is 20F minus 18F. Right. Now here simply it is 40 equal to here it is 2F. Now we will get F is equal to 20. 40 by 2 is 20. So here, why I have done this problem? Because it is not a direct problem. Here mean is already given and we have to find the unknown value of F. Now how we found out? We found out through the direct method, finding the summation here, then using the formula and then using the F value. So this problem, note it down children, we'll do another problem. Okay. The fifth problem. In a retail market, the fruit vendors were selling oranges kept in packing baskets. These baskets contained varying number of oranges. The following are the distribution of the oranges. Here, find the mean number of oranges kept in each basket. Which method of finding the mean did you choose? And the tabular column also is given. Now here asked, you have to find the mean of the oranges and also which method you are going to use. Now here, let's see which method we are going to use. Here the values are very big of f. Okay. So while finding the mid values and after making the product, it will be very tedious and time consuming for finding the product of the bigger values. So here we will be using step deviation method, because in step deviation method the values are being reduced, the calculations are being reduced to the u value, making the u value very simpler. We will be reducing this f and x values in simpler terms. Okay. So here we have to use the step deviation method. Now let's get started with the step deviation method. Now first we'll write the tabular column. Okay. The number of oranges. This is the class interval, right? Vertical column we'll be writing it in the horizontal column we'll be writing it in the vertical way, and the number of baskets, this is the frequency. Okay. Now what we find in the mean, arithmetic mean, the mid value, or it is also called as a class mark. Okay. xi in brackets you write mid value. Mid values of the concerned class intervals. Okay. In step deviation, we want u. Okay. So here ui. The formula of ui is xi minus a by upon h. This is ui. And the last one is fi ui. Okay. Let's draw the tabular column. Here. The first one is 10 and 14, 15 to 19, 20 to 24, 25 to 29, 30 to 34. Right. Now the f values 15, its value is 135, 115 and 25. These are the frequencies. Now we find the mid values. Mid value is the total of the upper limit and the lower limit plus you add the total and divide by 2. So 10 plus 14 by 2 comes to 24 by 2 is 12, and 15 plus 19, that is 34 by 2 is 17. Here 20 plus 24, 44 by 2 is 22. So how much difference you see here? There is a difference of 5 plus 5. Okay. So it comes to 27 and this is 32. Or else you can do for each and everything. Okay. Now this is the mid values form, and we have to find the u. The simpler values of u, we will be reducing these big ones. If you multiply, it will be very time consuming. So to make it simpler calculations, we are using u. Okay. Now here, if I take u value 1 and 2, x minus a. Now here first we have to see the xa value. Assume the mean. All the mid values, the central value, we will take it as the, assume the mean as a. Now for each x value, subtract from a and divide it with h. Now what is h here? Now a I got 22. H is the height or the length of the class interval, that is 5. Okay. H is 5. Now u value we find out xi minus. X is 12 here. Now for each x value 12 minus 22 divide by 5. So here 12 minus 22 by 5. Okay. This comes to minus 10 by 5. It is minus 2. U value is minus 2. So the value of u has become very small. These are the bigger values, isn't it? So now here x is again 17. X minus a. 17 minus 22. That is minus 15 minus 22. This is x minus a. Divide by 5. So minus 5 by 5 is minus 1. You can do it in the calculations also. 17 minus 22 by 5. It is minus 5 upon 5. It comes to minus 1. So here a and x value are the same. So here you get 0. 22 minus 22 by 5. And 27 minus 22, 5 by 5 is 1. Here you get 2. Simplest values of u. Now we will make the product of ui and fi. If you find this, like if I take this column 1, this column as 2, this column as 3, multiply 1 and 3. For you to understand, I am writing here. Okay, 3 and 1, column 1, column 2, column 3. 1 and 3 will multiply, we will get the product of fi ui. So 15 into 2, so minus 30. Okay, 110 into 1 is minus 110 here, and 0 multiplied by any number, you get 0. And here 115 into 1 is 115 again, plus 115, and 25 into 2 is 15. And here we will find the sigma fi ui. How do we get? See, there are different signs here. 140, minus 140 and 165. So 165, the plus number, and minus 140. Yeah, it is simply 25. Okay. So, and also for the formula, we need to find the summation of the frequencies, sigma fi. So add them, you will be getting 400 here. Now, all the values we will substitute in the step deviation method. What is the formula of step deviation method? Here, a sigma x bar is equal to a plus sigma fi ui by sigma f into h. Okay, this is in the bracket. You can keep it in the bracket. Now, what is the a value? 22 plus sigma fi ui, that is 25 by 400. 25 by 400 into h is the height of the class interval 5. Okay. Now you do the calculations here. Cancel it with 1, 5, 80s. Okay. Here 5 5s are 5 16s are. So 5 by 16 comes to 22 plus 5 by 16. So this 22 plus the decimal here, you get 0.31. So the mean value is 22.31. This is the mean value found by the step deviation method. It's very simple if you work out on your own. Okay. Now the method choosing, if choosing the method, that means see the values of f. If are very small values, then you can use the direct method, and or else if the method is mentioned, you can stick on to that method. And if it is not mentioned which method you have to use, that means then you have to choose the method where if there are big values, for big values you have to make the simpler calculations using u. Okay, use the step deviation. Or if there are mediocre values, use the deviation. If using mediocre values, you can use the value d and you can proceed to the assumed mean method. So it's very simple, children. It's simple, but when you practice the sums only, you will be getting the problems. So there are quite many problems in the exercise. I hope that you will do all the problems. If you find any difficulty, you can post it in the comment section. Okay. Thank you all.